Hey everybody, it's Kathleen again. I wanted to do a tutorial for you guys about how I put my Jamberries on. I know that there are lots of methods out there. I found one that I really like. I've used probably 3 or 4 different kinds throughout the time I've been wearing Jamberry, and this kind I feel like is fast, very efficient, which I'm really liking. So let me go ahead and kind of go into some nail prep. I think that's really important. Sometimes isn't stressed enough. If you're going to get the full 2 weeks out of your jams, then you need to make sure you're having really good nail prep so that they are getting that really good watertight seal on there. So the first thing that you want to do when you're getting ready to put your Jamberries on is to wash your hands really good. Something like a Dawn dishwashing detergent that's a good grease cutting type of a soap will help. You want to make sure when you put them on that you're not having any oils and grease, that type of thing, on your fingernails and your hands. The next thing that you want to do after you wash your hands is to push your cuticles back really well. This is a spoon cuticle pusher that I got online. You can get them anywhere, the drugstore, Walgreens, Walmart. They're not that expensive. But I find that this does a really good job. I think that pushing the cuticles back all the way is really important for a good seal. Sometimes you'll see people use these orange sticks to push their cuticles back, and that does it part of the way, but there's something that we all have that's called invisible cuticle, which once you push them back, if you feel if there's any roughness after you push your cuticles back, that's called invisible cuticle. You want to make sure that it's a really smooth area there, that there's nothing rough or bumpy. It's sort of almost like a waxy type of a feel after you push it back. So this rounded part of the spoon pusher, you just would take, I've done most of my fingers. I'm going to show you on my thumbs now. So after you wash your hands, you're just going to push that back really good and scrape along there. If you're finding that they're stubborn, get a good cuticle cream or a cuticle remover type of a thing, let that sit, and then work this, especially around in the corners and at the sides. I think a lot of times that area gets neglected, so then if it's not cleaned real good, you'll get some bubbling of your wraps. So get that scraped away really good before you go to put your jams on. This is all part of the prep. So get that pushed back really good. So after your hands are washed and your cuticles are pushed back, then you'll want to clean them. These little alcohol wipes are really good for that, or you can get a cotton ball and a bottle of alcohol. Vinegar can work good too. So we're just cleaning, make sure you get all around that cuticle area, just cleaning off any oils that might be there. Because just like a sticker or a Band-Aid, if it's a sticky thing, if you get any oil on it, then it's not going to stick. So make sure that we get that cleaned off really good. Okay, so once you get your nails prepped, you would take your sheet of Jamberry nails. Comes like this, and there's the clear backing, so you can try to figure out what size is going to fit what nail. So you just would take it and hold it up to your nail and just kind of bend it around and just look to see which one is going to fit the best. And a good fit is going to be where none of the wrap is touching your skin at all on the sides or on the cuticle, because then it's not going to seal, and any oils that develop on your skin will cause the wrap to lift. So just a little bit, a sliver of a space between your jams and the end of your nail is just perfect. No one will see it, and they will look gorgeous. So I'm going to do this wrap for my thumb. I'm actually going to use this Diamond Dust Sparkle. I know that this fits my thumb. So actually I'm going to go ahead and turn my heater on, which I love my heater. You can put jams on using a hair dryer. This is very quiet. A lot of times I'll put my wraps on watching a football game with my kids or something like that. Nobody's disturbed. Well, the noise doesn't bother them during the game, that sort of a thing. It just gives you the perfect amount of heat there. So what you're going to do is I cut this wrap in half. I shared it with a friend, so that's why I only have half. You're going to take this orange stick because you don't want to touch any part of the wrap that's going to be sticking to your nail, because you know, any oil that you have naturally in your skin is going to get on there, so just try to keep from touching that. So you lift it up, and then we have these great cuticle or nail scissors, which are really sharp. They do a really good job of cutting through this. So you cut it in half, and then you just kind of lift it off like this. Now there will be, well, I guess use it like this. Now you can touch this cut end, just right on the corners like that, because that part isn't going to stay. That part will get filed off. So just these upper corners that's not going to touch is fine. I feel like I have good control over it instead of trying to put it on with an orange stick, and holding it at the end like this is good. Now my thumbnails, and a lot of people's are like this, are more flat at the cuticle compared to this rounded edge. So what a lot of us like to do is just to trim off that rounded curve and just give it a better fit. Otherwise, if you don't and you have the flat area there, then you're just going to get some gapping in the corners. So I like to just trim this off. These are really easy to trim. If they're a little too big or something, just trim a little bit up the side and it's fine. It works just great. So now what I do, I lay it on my fingernail, not heated, and I just gently rest it on there, just barely touching, if you can see that, just where the cuticle edge is right there. I'm not overlapping the cuticle. I want it just kind of right up next to it, and I can kind of see, you know, from side to side if it's centered good, but it's just barely on there. So now I'm going to take it and heat it while it's on my nail. When I first started wearing Jamberries, I would heat them and then stick them on. And I found that a little bit stressful because I was trying to put it on, it was hot, and if I didn't get it on in time, or if I got it on crooked, So this I found is much quicker, much easier, less stressful. So I heat it, it's curling, that lets you know it's ready to go. So you take it at the cuticle area and you push real good there along the bottom, up the center, and then the sides, kind of at an outward angle, okay, with your thumb real good and tight. Okay, then I take those corners that we're going to file off and just pull down on the end. This is going to give you a good seal at your tip, as well as when it's warm, it's kind of stretchy. So as you stretch that down, that's going to thin the wrap at the edge just a little bit. So as you file it off, it won't be so, you know, it's not thick, but it will be thinner there. And you'll have a nice, a smoother edge then when you're done. So then I do that, and then you can take these little rubber cuticle pushers and just push it down really good. Some really good pressure. It's the heat and the pressure that is what gives you your seal on these. So yeah, let me go ahead and trim off this excess, just the extra part that's kind of flapping off the end, so it's not in the way. Stick that there. Alright, so I'm going to let that cool a little bit. You want to let them cool before you file them down. So again, I'm going to just touch this corner. It's going to get filed off, and I will trim this round edge off just to make it fit my nail better. Just barely lay it on, just like that, real light. That way if I get it off, it's a little crooked or something, I can just pick it up and adjust it without it being stuck down, without it damaging my nail, that sort of thing, if it was stuck down and I tried to pick it up. Alright, so once again, I'm going to take it at the cuticle, push it down real good there, straight up the middle, and then angle it off to the sides. Take my rubber cuticle pusher, get some really good pressure in around, especially around the edges. Oh, I forgot to do my tugging. Let me warm it up just a little bit. Tug those ends, thin it out, get a good seal. Okay, now I'll go back to this. If you find you have any bubbling or that sort of a thing, for whatever reason, if you didn't get a good seal, heat it back up, iron it down, these types of things, since they're metal, you can heat these up and they can almost act like an iron, you know, get it warm and then kind of iron it down if you have a trouble spot, that sort of a thing. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim this flap off. Should be kind of hard to cut with the left hand sometimes. Alright, there we go. So once they're good and cooled, what I will usually do is do like an entire hand and let them all cool and then file them off. So you want to make sure they're cool. So this thumb is probably fairly cool. So I'm going to take a good rough grit file, and then you are going to file at a 90-degree angle straight down. And you will see, if you can see there, it's starting to come away. Get it down in the corners. Sometimes I could take it under the corner of the nail and get off those corners. Corners are always the hardest for me. Okay, so then that piece is what's come off the end. And then I'll do that on the other one here. Actually, this thumbnail here just broke. I didn't break it. I cut it with my razor when I was trying to shave my legs, so I sliced it so it's a little bit shorter. So since it is shorter, sometimes those are harder to file. If you keep your nails really short, it's coming off, it's filing off. But if you're finding that your nails are too short to file, just grab your nail clippers. I'll show you here at the end, this last part. If you're going to do this, you just would want to clip off just the tiniest bit of your nail at the end there while you are clipping this off. Right on the edge. Okay, there we go. Alright. So, what I do next is a little extra step. I have a glass file. Jamberry does not sell these. I got this on Amazon. This is an OPI. It's very fine grit. So when you use this, you're just going to get really soft edges. I also like to make sure that I'm not going to get any snagging, that sort of a thing. That really just drives me crazy, and most people it would. So what you do with this, you take it, and instead of the 90-degree angle, you come back at it just like at a 45-degree angle. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's almost like dust. It's just the baby edge, top edge of that wrap coming off. And you won't be able to tell, other than just the way it feels, that it's a really nice smooth edge. Your wraps won't be catching on things when you're folding laundry or whatever. And it's just like smooth as glass. So just getting that, just that little dust of an edge off, so it's not sticking out over the end and it's really nice and smooth. So I like to go back and do that to all of my nails with this glass file. And you can find these anywhere, but this is a really good brand. Maybe, you know, read the reviews and stuff like that, because there's good ones and then not so good ones. So I really like this. So the next thing you would do, if you want, you can go back and heat it up, because we've messed with the tip a little bit. We've, you know, filed it down, that sort of a thing. You can heat it back up. Sometimes I like to heat up the tip and just roll it on something just to give a good pressure again. Or like I said, this you can heat up if you're using a hair dryer. You know, blow it on your fingers or heat up something like this. Metal tweezers can work well for this too, for sort of a, like I said, an ironing effect for your tips or for anywhere on your nail. So once this gets warm, you could also take this and just kind of go back over that edge. A lot of times if people are going to have issues, it's going to be at the tip or around, you know, the back cuticle area if they didn't clean it well. So you should be able to get about 2 weeks out of your jams. I typically wear them for 2 weeks. You want to make sure that you are moisturizing your cuticles and your hands while you have your Jamberries on. I usually take my cuticle oil, and I won't put it on today. I try to let my wraps sit, cure, if you want to call it that, for a day or so. It's late afternoon right now, so maybe in the morning I'll put some on. I just like to let them sit for a while before I really put any oil on them. I would recommend that you not go soak in the tub or something like that right away. Tomorrow would be fine, but try to just stay away from that maybe till the next day. But other than that, you should get a good 2 weeks out of them. If you're not, make sure that you contact me and I will find out what's going on and give you some good tips. Everybody's hands, everybody's fingers are different, so if something's not working for you, I will work with you and help you to the best of my ability so we can help you be happy and satisfied with your purchases and your beautiful nails. So I think that's everything I wanted to share with you today. So make sure that you're having a fun time with your Jamberries, and contact me with any questions that you might have. You can contact me through my website, which is kathleenprice.jamberrynails.net, and we'll see you later. Bye.